CMAGIC5.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, and everyone's got to stay with us till the end of the segment because you're going to tell us what CMAGIC5 is.
Yes, for sure.
Right. So I was so delighted to speak to you because you're only 17 and you've done so many amazing things. So let's start off by your first album, 13 years old, Destiny's Calling?
Yeah.
Okay, so what inspired that album? I mean, you've got to have some God-given talent to start writing at 13.
Thank you. Well, that album was actually driven completely by personal experiences, simply because it was during this time where I was in elementary school and I had experienced some really tough bullying, probably just like many of us have. Yeah. But it got to a point where I just couldn't really take it anymore, and I just needed to find some kind of an outlet to get it all out. And music's always been there for me ever since I was really little, so I've always been around music. But this is when I truly kind of discovered my passion and like ability to songwrite. So that's where that kind of came out from, and I just grabbed my acoustic guitar. I just started playing, and at the time I was self-taught for guitar, so I was playing, strumming some chords, and just writing down lyrics that were pure and straight from the heart. And at that point, I never had any guidance for songwriting or anything like that, so I didn't know if what I was doing was right or wrong, but I just knew that it was completely raw and it was straight from the heart, and it was something that I just wanted to share with the world through my own experiences. So the album, the EP, it was an EP, so it was like born in a matter of like just a few days, where I just wrote 2 or 3 songs a day, and then there was Destiny's Calling.
I think that is so magical. I'm going to use that word. I hope the audience doesn't think it's annoying. I'm going to use it several times because for me, that's when I know, because I interview people on Star Foodies so often. I feel like that's when I know that is true magic and true talent, when it comes from the heart.
Yeah.
And by the way, side note, we are very anti-bullying here on Star Foodies. So I love the fact, and that's something I totally stand for. We've all gone through it in some type of capacities in our lives. So I'm really happy that you mentioned that. Okay, we're going to get back to the music, but I want to take you back to a little bit when you first started writing. So we were chatting earlier and you said that, I said, what kind of experiences do you have at 13? And then you also said, well, my imagination.
Yes.
So tell me a bit about that.
So I'd always just I was told that I had like the craziest imagination. Like, first of all, I'd get dreams every night. So sometimes I'd even use like some elements from those like crazy dreams to just kind of put into my songs. Aside from music, I've always been into movies. So I just love kind of script writing as well. So I have like scripts lying all over the house that's just like, stuff from when I was a kid. And I try to kind of blend that idea of movies, music, and just like providing something fresh for audiences and listeners to kind of receive, right? So I just kind of mush that all together and then just come out with this product. At
such a tender age, you're so in touch with who you are, because you may or may not know this, but some of the most prominent and famous filmmakers today have come up with their movies and their dreams, right?
Really?
So there's actually a method to doing that. If you don't, let's say, if you can't dream what you want to dream, there's actually a way of doing that, waking yourself up. But for you, it comes naturally. You saw it in your dream, and it's basically like almost a meditative state. It's what your soul really wanted you to do.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
I think that's super cool. Like, I've always been fascinated by that idea of like dreaming and then just like being able to remember it. And then like, because I do it so much, like I've recently been having like these lucid dreams where I'm able to kind of control what I'm doing. I don't know if that makes me sound freaky or whatever, but
no, it makes you sound super talented, because people try to do that in film. People try to do that lucid dreaming and then wake up and write it down. There have been people have dreamt of cures for diseases, films, and music. So for me, that just lets me know that you know who you are at a very young age, and like I applaud you for that.
I hope so. Thank you.
No, that's amazing. So rewind to age 4. Because her bio on her website is pretty amazing. So you were doing theater, and then you were doing hip hop dancing.
Yes.
So did you think you just came out of the womb ready to perform?
Well, I like the way you put that. I just knew that that's something that I love doing, so it wasn't just music at the time. I love anything in the arts. I just love dance, music, drama, acting, and everything. I just love the way I feel while doing it, while being able to make other people feel, and like just putting a smile on their face, knowing that something inspired them or just made them feel good. That means the world to me at the end of the day. And because I love doing it and I'm able to pursue my passion while making others happy, I think that's like the most amazing feeling.
Yeah, I'm getting inspired from this side of the chair here, which I love. So you told me a little bit about being self-taught. Are you also self-taught for all the instruments that you play?
Yes. Yes, I am.
So ukulele, I think you do guitar, piano.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it started with piano. My dad bought me the smallest piano ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just
What do you
something.
call your dad? You have to tell us.
Dadager.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he's like my chauffeur. He just makes sure I meet and contact the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there to support you and to guide you, which is something so amazing, because
sure.
if you want to do what you're doing and you don't have that support from your family,
Right.
it's a lot harder, right?
Exactly. And I think a lot of people today maybe are self-managed or trying to become, self-managed, and that's a skill. It's a skill. So that's something I'm proud about today, that I'm able to kind of do my own advertising, marketing, branding, all of that with the support of my parents. So.
It's a very self world.
Right.
It's no longer uncool to be selfish. Like
Yeah.
we need to do that in order to survive, like for your social.
Right.
So instruments, are you playing instruments at home with your parents?
So they don't play instruments, but every now and then, like, I'd grab my guitar and start playing piano, and that's usually where I write my own original songs. So that's where it kind of comes out from.
How amazing. So just out of curiosity, those of us who don't play instruments, how do you pick up a guitar and teach yourself how to play that?
I have to give it all to YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, first of all. And it comes with a lot of like experimenting, right? Just like figuring out, I think it's easier to like experiment with piano because it's just easier to make like chords and stuff like that. So that's what I started off with. And then later on, I fell in love with the sound of the guitar and I just wanted to learn it. My friend gave me a couple lessons like here and there, and then I learned the rest off of YouTube and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's just something that I feel like is a really great tool to have as a musician.
All right. We're going to talk some more, but I got to go to a quick commercial break. You're going to hang out with me a little bit more, right?
Okay. Yes.
So we have so much more to talk about, determination and enthusiasm. So I read that on your bio, which I really love. So you're obviously very passionate about what you do. You wake up every morning and you're thinking, are you thinking about something to do artistically?
I'm always thinking about something. So it's like always, like I feel like I always have to be on to things, be doing things every single day. And like there are days where I don't do as much maybe on one day than I do on the other. And then I tend to like beat myself up about that. And I'm like, why didn't you do as much? So that's something I'm working on, just trying to space things out and just like tell myself it's okay to not be able to do as much on one day as you did on the other
because
day.
you're also, people may not know this, but you're also in university.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And so you're studying in university. So do you find out, has the music taken a back seat, or do you use it more like for therapy now to unwind?
Well, the way you put it is amazing actually, because the past 4 years for high school, it was kind of in the backseat because I had to kind of focus on that in order to get into university. So I was focusing on school. And for my senior year, I had a plan that I wanted to kind of make my senior year have a little more space. So what I did was I fast-tracked a whole bunch of courses in grade 11, like my math and my English. So then my senior year was like spaced out and I focused on music, and that's how I started writing so much more music. And especially during this time in quarantine, I was able to release so much more music. So yeah, and like basically on the way here as well, I was listening to my lecture. So it's like trying to just like prioritize everything and just get it all.
Listen, if you want something done, you give it to a busy person.
Yes.
They'll always get it done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Dad knows that. I'm sure your dad knows that too.
Yeah.
I would love to know a little bit about your lifestyle now, because here on Star Foodies, we always end the interviews talking about food. And for musicians, it's something unique. You need to be energized to sing, to write. You have to be in the right frame of mind.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Your parents, do they cook for you predominantly?
They do, yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite thing to eat?
Favorite food of like all time?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, I love food. I mean, who doesn't? I'm a big fan of Italian food and Greek food as well. So I really love lasagna, chicken parmesan, things like that. So just anything, I guess, with pasta. Yeah.
Pasta
Some
girl.
of my favorite. Yeah.
And desserts?
Desserts, well, recently I've been loving a lot of matcha. So I've been drinking matcha lattes, hot or cold, iced, doesn't matter. And I've just really been loving it. Like that's something I discovered about myself, and I realized like the benefits of it. Like matcha is actually so good for you, and it depends how you make it, how you make different like drinks and stuff like that. So matcha is definitely like my dessert go-to. Do
you find if you eat something different, you're inspired to write something different? Does it affect your music?
I haven't thought about that, but like now that you're mentioning it, yes. Like ever since my mom started making these matcha cookies, I was always like, okay, she's like doing something creative. I should go try something out. So yeah, for sure, I feel like whenever you do anything new for the first time, it inspires you to just try new things as a whole. It's like it comes with
so smart at such a young age.
Well,
when you do something new. I absolutely love that. It's like those uncharted waters.
Yeah.
But that's where all the magic is.
Exactly.
And before we get to your secret recipe, I'd love to know who named you CMAGIC5.
Well, it's a name that I gave myself when I was really young. So the C corresponds to the initial of my first name, which I may reveal in the future.
Okay.
Secret for now.
Secret for now.
Secret for now. And the 5 is my lucky number because I was born on the 5th day of the 5th month. And magic, because all I've ever wanted people to do was experience the magic through music. As corny as it may sound, like I came up with it when I was little, that's still a feeling that I always want people to have when they're listening to my music.
And never lose that feeling. You know,
Never.
Work can get you from A to B, hard
Right.
work that is, but
Yes.
imagination, well, that takes us everywhere.
Exactly.
I didn't
Love
make
that.
up that quote, but it's one of my favorite quotes,
Okay.
right?
Well, that's so wise. Love
Yeah.
it.
Well, imagination, it takes us literally anywhere we want to go.
Right,
All right.
yeah.
From imagination, I'm getting ready. Tell everybody what you'd like me to remake in the kitchen.
I would love for you, Christina, to remake my mom's matcha cookies.
Okay. Chocolate in them?
So white chocolate chips, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fan of chocolate. So
I love chocolate. Oh my gosh, yes.
I asked you if food inspires you because something happens to me when I eat dark chocolate, particularly.
Me too. Dark chocolate is the best.
It is
so
the
good.
best. And there's like less guilt. You don't get those shakes from all of the sugar.
exactly.
We try to stay away from those refined sugars.
Right.
So I'm going to be in the kitchen. So I'm going to be in the kitchen with Chef Jeremy Parsons, who is amazing.
Ooh.
Chef Jeremy is also a mixologist.
Wow.
You're too young to drink alcohol, but he actually creates a lot of the mixtures, I think about 70% for the LCBO. So in a lot of the recipes, he tries to sneak in a mix of alcohol. I don't know what we're gonna do. Sometimes he puts a little twist on the recipes,
Ooh.
but I promise it'll be delicious. And I'm gonna do
sure.
my best to remake your mom's green matcha cookies
Aw.
with some chocolate in them.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Christina.
It's been a pleasure, and I feel like I've learned a lot from you today too.
I've learned so much from you too.
So, what'd you think of this recipe? For everybody who's just tuning in, we interviewed CMAGIC5, who gave us these matcha tea chocolate infused cookies.
They taste delicious.
Okay.
And it's not just because I made them. But yeah, no, they taste awesome. I thought it was a really cool recipe and it was fun to make.
Okay, so do you bake a lot?
I don't really bake a lot, so it's nice to be able to change it up a little bit.
Okay, I love baking.
Yep, I know you
So today I think it's going to be a really fun episode.
It is
Your
fun.
expertise, my knowledge, not expertise.
do. And expertise and experience, absolutely. Come on now.
Okay, so let's go through the ingredients. What'd you
For
bring?
sure. So I have some beautiful butter that is nice and melted. And I kind of played around a little bit with their original recipe. So I'm using demerara sugar, which has like a little bit of a nutty chocolate flavor to it, instead of just regular brown sugar. So I'm gonna add in our butter. And then I've got half a cup of quick dissolved sugar, and then we're gonna add in our demerara. So this is really gonna set the base, and this is
love
like the glue for the cookies. So I'm just gonna mix this in right now and get it. I mean, you can already smell that great sweetness.
So here's a tip that we were talking right before the camera started rolling. You told me the butter needs to be warm.
Yes, so that it starts to melt and bond the sugars together.
Okay.
And then that way you're not killing your wrist whisking all the time. So you wanna make sure that the butter and it's not granular anymore, but it's a really nice thick mixture.
Why does mine never look,
There we go.
never look
It's all on the wrist. It's all on
It's
the
all
wrist.
on the wrist, okay.
So, and then we've got 2 eggs. So we're putting in 1 full egg. Then also just a yolk. So I'm just gonna strain out the yolk in here.
And then we save the egg white for my face mask later on.
Don't worry, I'm saving it right now.
You know me
I
now.
remember.
It's
Come on
amazing.
now. So I'm just gonna whisk this up. Now I know that the recipe asked for vanilla. Instead, I'm using a vanilla spiced rum.
Okay, wonderful.
Just to add a little bit of fun.
Now, what kind of, is this Cuban rum, Canadian rum?
This is actually bottled in Grimsby, Ontario, but it uses Haitian spices. So
Okay.
you've got a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of nutmeg, and
It's a great alternative, chef.
I think so, you know, and then you can also make a cocktail with it later. And I'm just gonna add in a touch of olive oil. I just found that this really helped to keep the cookies together.
Okay.
And then when they're baking, there's not as many cracks.
Okay, so they become more crispy, right?
Exactly, and I'm using an aerated pan so that the air gets right underneath, you get a nice crispy bottom, and then it's a beautiful, and you're not overcooking them, so that the cookies will actually stay moist for longer.
Okay.
So now we're gonna add in our dry ingredients. So we've got our flour and some baking soda,
Okay.
and then the matcha.
Okay, so here's your magic, right?
This is...
Can I smell this?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So this is green tea matcha.
Oh, it smells like green tea matcha.
It does.
Yeah, it's strong.
So if you want to drop in 2 tablespoons of that,
So
this is going to give it a really nice color as well as the flavor.
Oh, wow.
And I also did another version of this cookie using matcha with butterfly pea bush tea. So this is blue. It looks amazing, but it also works great for baking. So next we're gonna add in some pink salt.
I got another beauty regimen.
Let's do it.
Himalayan pink salt with the olive oil, a teaspoon every morning. It helps shrink that waist.
Really?
Yeah.
And now you can eat more cookies.
Now I can...
So now we're gonna mix it together.
Okay.
Let's do it.
That's it. Okay.
Dry and wet, and then you fold it in. So as much as I don't do that much baking, my grandmother did baking with me. And so by folding it in, you're just watching and acting the ingredients because you want to make sure that it's not too dry.
So just do it slowly.
You got it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to kind of drop this in and stir it up. And actually, you can drop some in for me while I stir.
This reminds me of making molasses cookies, like at home. He's just folding in all of the dry into the wet. So if we did a good job, then we're gonna have just enough.
Yeah, we should be pretty good. Yeah, I think this is starting to look good. So it's really combining, and you can see just adding that little bit of the green tea matcha, how green this batter is.
Wow.
And you know what? We're gonna need the rest.
We are, so we did it perfect?
Of course we do.
You want the whole thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Done deal.
All right, so I think you should keep working that wrist motion.
I am. Don't you worry. I'm doing figure eights and doing everything.
Keep doing that. We're gonna go to commercial break, and then when we come back, you're gonna show us the best way how to get them on this tray, because you did. I've never baked with something like this, and this will give us that crispy bottom.
Yep, absolutely, especially with using the parchment paper.
So you have been slaving away
Yes, I have.
during the commercial break.
My wrist is gonna fall off.
Your wrist is gonna fall. I'm making you do all the work, but it looks moist.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you want to make sure that it's well combined, which it is. And the only holes that you're seeing are just from the chips, which means it's going to stick together really well.
Okay.
So let's get it into the piping bag.
Okay,
You're going to need to hold this open. You're going to have to hold it open wider than that.
Okay.
Come on.
Now the thing is,
My aim isn't that good.
I'm not accustomed to doing this with a piping bag.
No problem. Just hold it more towards the top.
Oh, towards the top.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. And now I'm just going to drop all the dough in.
And it's nice and stiff. This is what we want for cookie dough.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There we go. Don't worry, it's not going to fall at the end.
There, I got it now.
There we go.
I'm so, I just learned from just doing it with my hands, but this is a much better.
Well, you know what? Your hands stay a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
Doing it this way. So, oh, perfect. Yeah, exactly. You're getting the air out. We're going to snip. So you just snip the tip to as big as you want the portion to come out as.
Okay.
So I'm doing that. We're losing a couple of chips, but that's okay. And you're going to help me again. Okay. So we've got a little spoon, and I just want you to depress on top of the middle of the cookie just to kind of spread it out after I do the glob.
With just wet, not
just
the water.
wet.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And what does that do, Chef?
And so this just helps to keep the cookie together, and it just makes it look nice. Boom. See? It looks cool. And these guys, you want to keep them so that they're only about 1 inch thick and about 2 to 3 inches apart. So we're socially distancing our cookies.
We're socially distancing. Now, here's something that I learned when baking. Is it true we should make them as close to the same size as possible so they get ready?
Even cooking, exactly. And if you're using a convection oven, then you also want to go a little bit less on time. These are going to take about 10 minutes to cook. But as soon as the edges start to brown, you want to take them out.
Okay.
And it really helps to have that perforated pan to get that crisp bottom.
Trying to make them the same size. murdered a couple of these.
They look great.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're gonna puff up when they cook. So
I love this recipe because we've done unique twists.
absolutely.
And I bet you they're still gonna turn out awesome.
They do turn out great. I mean, I have changed some stuff up. The rum you can definitely taste in there. But yeah, they puff up just a little bit, but it just makes them airy and light. So
Okay.
they're not a dense cookie.
It's not a dense cookie. Okay,
No.
are you happy with this amount to go in the oven?
I'm very happy with this
Okay,
amount.
let's
I want
go
to
to
eat these
the-
already. Come on.
All right, Chef, how long did we bake these for?
This is 10 minutes, but basically you just want to look to see if you've got a little bit of browning and crispness on the bottom,
Okay.
and then they're ready to go.
Okay, I'm dying to see the bottom.
For sure.
Okay, let's see.
So there you go. So you just get a little bit of the browning, but you can see it on the edges.
Can't wait to try these. So you also,
Yes.
part of the surprise, this is why we love Chef Jeremy. What do you have here?
So I did the blue matcha as well as the green. So, but with the blue, I paired it up with white chocolate chips. And yeah, it tastes awesome. It looks cool. And just to kind of give a little variation and, you know, hey, sometimes it's fun to have blue cookies.
Yeah, absolutely, and also saying thank you to CMAGIC5 and all your team for joining us on Star Foodies. So Chef Jeremy prepared a variation for you. It is now the most important time of the show. We're going to try it.
They're still pretty warm, but hey, dig
Okay,
in.
thank you CMAGIC5 and your team. Thank you, Chef Jeremy.
You're very welcome.
Should I take it?
Yes, you should take
I
it.
want a blue one too.
Okay, that's fine too.
I'm
We
going
can
to
do
be
that
a
too.
cookie monster today. Thank you so much, Chef Jeremy.
Thank you.
Bon appetit.
Enjoy the cookies.